What is up, everyone? It is David Mailer here, your Man on Fire mentor. And once again, welcome to one of my lives. Whether you're seeing me on YouTube, hearing me on the podcast, Instagram, you name it, it's always an honor and it is always a pleasure to be with my fellow brothers. So, are you ready to dive into the center of the fire? Because let me remind you, gentlemen, some men fear the fire. Ooh, it's getting hot. And some men become the fire. Let's say that one again. It's pretty deep. Some men fear the fire, and some men become the fire. What do we mean by that? Well, I could only speak for myself, and having worked with over 10,000 men, I can tell you that just about all men have fears, and just about all men at various stages of their life avoid tension, avoid discomfort, avoid the heat, avoid conflict, avoid controversy, avoid things that make them uncomfortable. And naturally, you wouldn't want to dive into the center of a fire. Naturally, you wouldn't want to dive in the center of something that's hot. Why? Because it's fear. Fear that you can get burned. Fear that this pain will never go away. Fear that I'll be trapped and stuck forever in the misery of this discomfort. And what if nothing or no one can ever make it go away? So how many of you actually live your life this way, where you're doing everything in your power to avoid the heat? You're doing everything in your power to avoid the discomfort. You're doing everything in your power to shy away and stay away from things that might make you a little bit uncomfortable. But guess what, guys? Guess what? That's right, you guessed it. And many of us have heard this. Your growth will begin at the end of your comfort zone. That is where growth begins. But most of us have been entrained, right, into a cultural hallucination. We've been entrained into a life of comfort. We've been entrained into a life of complacency and neutrality and bland and ordinary and fair and good. And that is not for you. It might be how you're living, but it's not who you are. It's not who I was, and it absolutely was how I was living for the first 40 years of my life. Everyone gets good at tiptoeing around and tiptoeing on broken glass, and you don't want to break the eggshells. And next thing you know, we've abdicated our leadership. We've given away our power. We're living a life of fear. We're not living into the congruence and coherence and alignment and authenticity of who we truly are. We're a shell of our old self. We look in the mirror. We don't like who we're seeing. We feel like a fake. We feel like a fraud. We feel like a phony. It's not the real me. Where the hell am I? Well, you would have to get past your fear. And some of you have heard the acronym. Fear could stand for false evidence appearing real, or I don't want to curse here on Facebook, but fuck it. Fear is fuck everything and run, right? A lot of us do that. And it's not conscious, guys. I want you to understand something. This is not me like calling you out. It's me calling you forward. You have to see your blind spots. You have to illuminate or have illuminated for you your blind spots to really actually see what's been running the show. So what do you think is running the show? And it's this thing called fear. But what do we even mean by fear? Forget those acronyms for a second. What do we really mean by fear, right? You look at today's topic. And what do we really mean by fear? And what we mean by fear is that each one of us is wired to do everything in our power to get away from feeling stupid, feeling dumb, feeling ignorant, feeling not good enough, feeling unworthy, feeling unlovable, feeling alone, feeling isolated, feeling like I don't fit in. We are all hardwired to have those fears. And I've discussed this on other lives. This has to do with certain hurts and certain wounds and certain traumas that we've all had during various courses of our life, mainly when you're a toddler or even as early as in utero, but we're not going to go there on today's discussion. But we've all had stuff happen. For me, if you've heard some of my stories, one of them was at age 5. when I was playing with my dog. And while I was petting him, he rolled over so I could rub his belly. He hit his head on a piece of furniture and died in front of me. And, later when my parents tried to explain to me that he went to heaven, all I could hear was, well, you killed your dog. And so we start forming these stories of I'm not good enough. And I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy, and therefore I'm not worthy of my parents' love. Because look what I did, right? Whether it's a parent leaving home, separation, divorce, whatever it is. Well, how come dad never comes home? Why is he always at work? Like, we as children form these stories of I must not be good enough. This is not conscious, okay? This is something that is completely underneath our radar. You as the adult, intellectually, you fully comprehend what it is that I'm saying, but you can't imagine what it was like for that little boy inside of you. That little boy inside of you. He's the one that's running the show. He's the one that still has the fears. He's the one that's afraid to start that new business. He's the one that's afraid to dive more deeply into intimacy and relationships, including with his significant other, his wife, or his husband. He's the one that's afraid to go after his mission and purpose. Well, you have good reasons. Oh, well, you don't understand, David. I have to provide a living for my wife and for my kids, and I'm stuck at the job that I'm at. No, I understand. I understand that you've been lying to yourself. I understand that you're terrified. I understand that you're filled with fear. I understand that fear is the governor of your life. I understand that every decision you make is most likely rooted in trying to get away from feeling like you're not good enough. I understand that you've done a great job of putting on masks and being a version of you that you're really not. I understand that you become an actor in your own show called your life where it's not the real you. I understand that you've turned to pain management and vices like weed and alcohol and overworking and pornography and masturbation and sugar and sleeping and video games and surfing the internet. I understand. The question is, do you understand? Do you understand that the only reason you really do those things is because you're scared? You're scared to fail. Why? Why? Because you made it mean something. And what did you make it mean? You made it mean that if I fail, I'm stupid. If I fail, I'm dumb. If I fail, I'm not good enough. If I fail, I'm not worthy. And if I'm not worthy, then guess what? I'm not worthy of people's love. You made it mean that. Now, when I say you, okay, what I mean is the culture that you were encultured into. You were born into that understanding from your parents to your friends to the school system to the town you live in to the friends you hang out with. That's how everybody is. It's like we're just going around trying to outrun our fears. Let me just try to prove to the world that I'm good enough, when the reality is your decisions are not being governed by your soul. Your soul. Your heart. Not the pirates in your head, not the ego, not the voice of destruction that wants to ruin you. No. Fear has been running your life. Who can relate to this, right? Who can relate to this? Put it in the comments. Are you hearing what I'm saying? The governor of your life has been fear. And your fear has been rooted in your terror of not wanting to look bad, look stupid, feel dumb, be judged, fingers pointed at you, feel unworthy, feel not good enough, feel unlovable, feel like I don't fit in, isolated and alone. I might as well leave. Might as well leave. What's my purpose here on this earth? I don't fit in. That's what's governing your life. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Are you hearing me? Smash up the like key if you don't mind, if that feels congruent for you to do that. I'd love to be honored in that way so that other men can get access and exposure to our lives. This is something that you want to help other men rise. You don't want to hoard this information. You don't want to keep it all to yourself. This is something to be shared. This is something that you want for other men to elevate, for other men to step up, for other men to step into and stand in their masculine leadership and bring that version of you that operates from a space of courage. Courage. What if courage was the governor of your life instead of fear? Right? Like I've heard from the big TR. What if fear stood for face everything and rise? What if courage was the governor of your life? What if discipline? What if decisiveness? Being direct, being focused, being clear. What if that was the governor of your life rather than fear? How would your life look different? How would your relationships look different? Your past ones, your present one, your future ones. How would your relationship with your children look different? How would your relationship to your mission and your purpose, like the meaning of why you're here as a man, how would that look if instead of fear governing your life, courage was the governor of your life? How would your finances look? How would your wealth and health look? How would it all look if courage was the main ingredient that ran your life? How many more relationships would you still be in or maybe get out of? How many jobs would you have quit? How much closer would you be to standing in your true mission and your true purpose as a man? How much healthier would you be if fear wasn't in the way? So when we speak of the fears that drive a man or men to hide and play small, this is what I'm talking about. We're terrified to look dumb. We are terrified to feel stupid. We are terrified to be judged by other people. We are terrified to be exposed. Oh my God, look at me. It's a sham. I'm a fraud. I'm a fake. I'm a phony. Don't look at me. So we put on this pseudo facade, this act, wear these masks, become the pleaser and the yes man. That doesn't get it done. All you've done is lose your self-respect and violate your own boundaries. Well, you become the mom. Now you're looking for approval. So now you're attaching to things outside of you, externally trying to source your value. That doesn't work either. Well, what works? What works? I'll tell you what works because I'll always give it to you guys straight. What works is when you decide one day, no more. No effing more. No more. No more am I willing to tolerate living beneath the standard of who God made me to be. No more. No more am I playing small. No more will fear be the governor of my life. No more. Well, what's the problem with that? The problem with that is you maybe feel those emotions for a few seconds and then the alarm clock goes off the next day and you're back to your same old ways. Same crap. Same shit. Well, you meant it when you said it, so how come you didn't do it? Well, most of you haven't flexed the muscle of discipline. Most of you haven't conditioned yourself enough, haven't ingrained and embodied this information where you own it. You own it in your physiology. When you own it in your body, you'll own it in your life. Well, how do I do that? How do I do that? Thus begins your journey. You're not going to get it from my podcast or one of my videos. Yeah, that's going to wake you up a little bit. It's going to shake you a little bit. It's going to help you see the gap of where you're at and where you want to be. You could read the books, right? Oh, I read such and such book. Great. What's different in your life? Nothing. For some of you, I'm sure it is different, right? Talking to the guy right now that recognizes you've got the data up here. You've got the information up here, but it hasn't dropped down into your body. So you're not living it. You know it, but your life doesn't show it. Therefore, you really don't know it. Until you own it in your body, you won't own it in your life. Well, how do I do that? Well, this is why we're so passionate about getting men to our Man on Fire Rising 4-day immersion, where you walk in a shell of who you are. You walk in with your tail tucked. You walk in as a lion that's been sleeping dormant. You walk in feeling like a fake or a phony. You walk in knowing that you've been selling yourself and your family short of your true potential, your true greatness. And who do you leave as? You leave with a greater level of congruence and alignment to the real you. During those 4 days, we will wake you up. We will shake you, rattle you, roll you, do whatever it takes to help you remember who you are. Because who you are is a masculine leader. You forgot. You forgot because this thing called fear got in the way. You are a masculine leader. You can embody your light. You can hold the resonance and be the portal of remembrance of who you are, and in your light help others find their light. That is who you are. You are courage. You're a warrior. You're a king. You're a lover. You're a leader. You are the light. And you forgot. You forgot because fear took over. And you got off track and you got off path and you're in the water and you're trying to tread water and you can't. You're hanging on for your dear life because your ego, your identity is fighting for its survival. Let go. Let go. And it's time to face the fear. Now, I will tell you as a 55-year-old man, 55, never so alive. That's what I tell my wife. When I was 44, I told her 44, ready for more. It's true. 55 never so alive. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You ready? Are you ready? Lean in. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you truly want to grow, here's my suggestion. Don't try to do it alone. Unless you are a Goggins and you're a Navy SEAL and you can self-motivate and you rip it on your own, you can kill it on your own, you can crush it on your own, you've got discipline, good for you if that's you. And if it's not you, like the other 99.9% of us, where there's no shame in that, get in a community of men that won't tolerate your bullshit. Get in a community of men that will hold you to the fire. Get in a community of men that will hold you to your true potential. Get in a community of men that won't let you shrink and won't let you contract and won't let you play small and won't let you lie to yourself and won't let you drown in your own stories and your own bullshit. That's where you need to be. No offense. That's not your synagogue group. It's not your church group. It's not your friends. It's not your parents. They are never going to hold you to the fire. And as soon as you get uncomfortable, the fears will take over. You must be in a peer group that won't tolerate you shrinking. Now, I can't speak for all of the communities out there, but I can say, of course there's amazing communities out there. Of course. The one I can speak to is Man on Fire. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know what my coaches stand for. And I know what the brothers are like in our community. And we have cultivated a safe container for a man to be vulnerable, face his fears, access his emotions, and use it as leverage to regain his courage and reconnect with his masculine leadership. So he's on purpose. He's living his mission. He's up-leveling his life in the different domains from health and wealth to mission and purpose, to marriage and relationships. Why? One of the reasons we're here, guys, by the way, if you've been tuning into some of my podcasts and lives, is we're here to grow. And in our growing, we can no longer turn our backs on the responsibilities that are in front of us to make a difference in the world. And one of those responsibilities, one of them, is to guard and protect and be the gatekeeper to the feminine heart. The women, think of little girls. Think of what's happening right now in the world with sex trafficking. Are you proud of how you treat women in your life? Are you proud if you watch porn and you support women in their hurts and in their wound and in their trauma? Are you proud of that? And I'm guessing no, you're not. So you're going to need some help. You're going to need some support because we are here to guard their heart. Protect their heart, not stomp on it. And you can't do that if you're asleep. You can't do that if you're in the wounded masculine, the immature masculine. You can't. And the only antidote is to grow. And your desire must be pure. It must come from a hunger. It has to come from inside you to re-illuminate that fire that's dwindled down. It's barely ashes right now. You got a fire inside of you. You got a lion inside of you. And you've been asleep. And if you, the guy I'm talking to right now, if you're ready to find yourself again, to wake up and to bring that up-level version of you into the world, into your family, click on the link that will be below to go on manonfirerising.com. And one of the tabs will say, apply for a discovery call. And we say apply because not everyone gets approved. We're not looking to have you speak to one of our senior coaches where you get to bitch, you get to complain, you get to moan and groan, you get to tell us all the reasons why your life stinks. No, it's for the guy that is ready to step in to this new life that's been waiting for him. It's for the guy that is ready to expand his energy, to spend it, to invest his energy, his time, and yes, his money in himself. Not in us, not in another program, but in yourself. Your investment, when you spend money, you are either spending money on stuff that is shrinking you and making you contract like porn and weed and alcohol and stuff you don't need, or you're spending it where it's an investment in you up-leveling, you growing, you expanding, where everyone wins in your life. And I'm sitting here today telling you, I have easily invested over $1 million in my personal growth. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. But most of you listening would say you might have spent that in a lifetime on stuff that never served you. Buying the extra house, the extra watch or car, the porn, the alcohol, the weed. That's where money's going. It needs to go on you. It needs to go on your growth. So when I say don't apply to speak to one of our coaches, if you're not ready to invest in yourself, don't do it. That our community is not right for you at this time relative to one of our coaching programs. Continue to follow me for free through these lives, or maybe join one of my workshops for $97. Great. If that's where you're at, that's okay. But if you're the guy that's listening right now that is ready to put the sword in the ground and say, no more, enough, I am ready to step into the real version of me, that's the guy I'm talking to. In which case, fill out an application. We'll see if you're approved. And then you get to speak to one of our coaches, and we can explore if one of our coaching programs is the right fit for you. We'll see. All right. So, what are you guys hearing? Put it in the chat. Lee, Sean, what are you hearing? What are you guys hearing? Huh? Alan, what are you guys hearing in what I'm sharing today? Are you feeling me? Throw me the fire. Smash up the like key. Sound the alarm. Dive into the center of the fire. Follow me. All right? I'm not asking you to drink Kool-Aid. I'm not asking you to drink Kool-Aid and get on a spaceship. I'm not asking you to drink Kool-Aid where it takes your life. I'm asking you to face your fears. I'm asking you to follow me and go into the center of the fire, because let's be the buffalo. Let's run into the center of the storm. Let's have the courage of the lion. Let's face it all. Let it eat you up. Where you're like, finally like, wow, this is it? This is what I've been running from my whole life? This is what I've been scared of? Jesus. I mean, it only takes a few seconds to a few minutes, and guess what? My team and I can teach you guys how to face it. We can teach you how to get back into standing in your courage, in your decisiveness, in your discipline, in your leadership. That's what's needed right now. The congruence in your energy. Not another book where you read something cool and you underline it and then you highlight it. And what do you do with it? Nothing. Then you call a friend and you tell them, oh, you got to read this book. You got to read this book. If somebody calls me and tells me that, I'd say, why? What's different about your life? How has it impacted your life? I don't care if it's impacted your mind. I want to know, how has that impacted your life? And for most men, it won't. Because we are overloaded. We're junkies of information, which just gets us to continue to not take any action in your life. You want to change your life, take action. Maybe for some of you, the action is go to my website, manonfirerising.com, click on the link to apply for a free discovery call with one of my coaches if you're dead serious about your growth, to explore one of our coaching programs. That'll change your life. Not reading another book. No offense to any authors. There's amazing books out there. But if you're not doing anything with that information, it's nonsense. So, what are you guys hearing? Are you feeling me? Is this penetrating to your soul? Are you receiving this transmission right now? This is your wake-up call. You've been asleep. It is time to step into the fire. Some men fear it. Some men become it. Are you ready? Are you ready to dive into the center of the fire with me? Are you ready to meet the real you? Are you ready to stand in your true potential? Are you ready to accept who God created you to be and bring those gifts to the world? Are you ready for that? If you're not, you're probably listening to the wrong podcast or watching the wrong Facebook or Instagram video. This is a no-nonsense community. Yeah, we're intense. And guess what? We love as deeply as well. There's a lot of love in our community, a lot of care, a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion. It's not rah, 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 hit your chest. But most of you have lost that warrior. Most of you have lost that primal energy where you could wrestle a bear or wrestle a lion. Like, you forgot who you were. So yeah, there's some intensity to our community, but at the core is the heart. If you're not connected to your heart, what's the point of any of this? It's just to try to prove you're enough, which will never work. Millionaires and billionaires take their lives every day. You'll never prove you're enough. So just be enough. And the way to be enough is to face your fears. This is exactly what we help men with in all of our Man on Fire coaching programs. So again, guys, if you're ready for that, make sure you go to our website, manonfirerising.com. and apply for a free discovery call. It is always an honor and a privilege to be able to share with you and my personal journey, my life experiences, my trials and tribulations, and be able to stand here today with a greater level of coherence and alignment to the real me. That is a very freeing feeling. Most men say they want freedom, say they want fulfillment. What does that really even mean? What does that mean? It means that you're living with alignment. You're living with congruence. You've taken off the mask. No more fraud. No more fake. No more phony. No more letting fear run my life. No more. No more. That takes work, guys. Man on Fire is not a magic pill. We are not a magic pill, potion, lotion, or genie. Doesn't work that way. Every day, you start over and you recommit. And I will tell you, and this is what I was sharing earlier, as a 55-year-old man, I got off track. The fastest path to your growth is to be challenged, to be supported, and to be held accountable. That is your fastest path, whether it's with Man on Fire or another brotherhood. That is your fastest path to your growth. Get inside a peer group that won't tolerate you playing small. And if you are in a community and you're getting away with your nonsense and your crap, you're in the wrong community. Period. You've just picked another community for you to feel good enough and for you to hide and for you to avoid being uncomfortable. That won't fly in our community. If that's you, don't apply to speak to one of our coaches. But if you're ready to be vulnerable and you're ready to face it, you'll be loved back and loved home into who you truly are. So if you're ready for that, I look forward to seeing you in inside one of our coaching programs. All right, guys, it is your Man on Fire mentor, David Mailer, saying, until next time, I will see you. So much love, guys. See you soon. Oh, put in your final comments. What's your greatest takeaway from today? What is your greatest takeaway from today, and what's the action step you're going to take? What is your greatest takeaway from today, and what's the action step that you're going to take? Put it in the comments. Smash up the like key. Throw them in the fire signs. Share this with friends that you know needed to hear this today. Bye for now. It's your Man on Fire mentor, David Mailer, signing off officially. Official.